Welcome to the Contact Center Gurus, the podcast for contact center and customer experience leaders. Learn best practices, new technology, tips and tricks, and more. Listen in.
Welcome, everyone, to the Contact Center Gurus. I'm your host, Rob Enslow.
All right, I'm your co-host, Jessica Voss. And today we have a special guest, Jennifer Waite. And Jennifer, just give us a little intro about yourself so we can get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. So glad to be here with both of you. So thanks for inviting me. Currently, I am the Vice President of Product Marketing at Playvox, but my background has been in the call center or contact center space for my entire grown life, but even some of my teenage years. So growing up, my family owned a small call center. So it was back in the day of all outbound dialing and no computers. And
I hope you weren't like a 12-year-old, no.
14, that was the first legal time that I could work the family business. Yeah, so that was like tallying tick sheets and then, things like that. But so I worked for my family business for quite a number of years. And then I joke that dinner conversations shouldn't be about why a job's not running well. So I went to work for a contact center consulting firm that also did third-party quality assurance monitoring. So kind of became the career that chose me. And I've done a lot of really fun things. So when I started at that consulting firm, there were 25 of us. When I left, there were almost 500. Wow. So it was really awesome to see the growth and trajectory of that business. And then I went to work for some of the big enterprise names in our space. So in Contact, that became Nice in Contact. I've been with Verint, and now I'm with Playvox. So having a lot of fun with, quality and workforce management and all of the things that go around that kind of space.
Yeah, you are a contact center guru. You're like a child contact center guru.
I know, almost against child labor laws.
Oh yeah, I'm like 14. I think every state has a different child labor age, I believe.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, it's 14 and you're allowed to work 3 hours a day, 4 days a week.
And that's all you worked, of course.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I can say that was all that I was.
Her parents under the bus.
That's a large allowance you get. Wow. $100,000 a year, large allowance.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So thanks for joining us. So I know we're going to be talking about work from home, the new office, how it allows you to hire the best and how to keep everyone feeling like part of the team since I always say since COVID, but work from home has been around a while, but I know that kind of jump-started everyone. So I guess how does the move to work from home become an advantage for the contact centers? Because I've heard pros and cons, so I love your perspective.
Yeah, so like you said, this is something I think many of us have dabbled in over the years and have, tried to figure out how to make it work for a business. But when so many businesses are tied to the cost structure of a brick and mortar building, it's really hard to take full advantage of, the work from home model. So COVID did kind of force us in that direction. But what I saw that was really great for the businesses was it took away that geographic limitation for the hiring pool that you had. We all have seen the numbers of turnover in contact center positions. And I know from my family's business, when we still had it was, you have this small population of people that you have available to hire from. And that is a blessing and a curse sometimes. So when you can take away those walls and those barriers, you really can find the best staff. You can start thinking of different things such as how can we expand into different time zones so that we have better availability and that we're not, kind of taxing some of our staff to be there later hours or early morning hours. So I think that when they look at less of what the impact is on the business from the oversight perspective, because that definitely comes into play. And they look at the fact that you don't have to limit yourself for who you can hire. You can hire the best regardless of where they're sitting. So I've seen it be, a really great advantage. at Playvox, we have ourselves just one actual office. It's in Manizales, Colombia, and all of the rest of us are virtual workers. And that's been kind of the way I've worked for almost the past 15 years. So it's something I'm very comfortable with, and I'm really glad that many more companies are taking advantage of that opportunity to not only expand the way that they're hiring in that way, but that they see it as a long-term plan, even if they do reopen their offices.
Well, I've
That's
also
not a
seen
real,
it.
you're not at the Playvox office now? I thought
Oh,
you were,
you know
I
what?
thought you were there.
I am. I'm here. I can pop in and out. It's like a magic trick that I can do.
Teleporter over here.
Right.
So I was gonna say it also could be viewed as improving agent attrition or morale. At least that's what I've seen. I know a few years ago, large companies, even small companies, were offering work from home as like a benefit or an incentive, or if you hit your KPIs or your sales goals, you could work from home for a week. And I know a lot of agents were like, yes, I want to work from home. So now I think it's definitely a benefit, and almost everyone is used to working from home now and kind of don't want that taken away.
Yeah, I think there's some personality types that really gain their energy from being around people and wanting that interaction from being in an office. But I mean, look at some of the places that we've all seen contact centers, open in. Who wants an hour-long commute to and from an office? I'd rather have those 2 extra hours with my family instead of in a car sitting in traffic. And not only that, there's cost savings for a company for not having to have everybody in an office. A lot of times, there's additional, spiffs or nice to haves that an office offers. And when someone's working from home, catering lunches every Friday may not be as feasible, but they can look at how to kind of pepper in some really fun activities throughout the year that are more of a surprise for the employees. And that also is a great tangible benefit. Yeah, everybody loves to have a catered lunch, but when you get a surprise package in the mail and someone was thinking about you, that's almost more special than just going down to a break room and grabbing a sandwich.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So what would you say, Jennifer, like what do you need to account for or think differently about, when you're actually managing a remote staff? I mean, you have to take on a new perspective, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely do. A lot of times in contact centers, promotions come from within. So someone works really hard, they do a really great job at being on the phone, they become a supervisor or a team lead, and that all, that growth from within it is part of the greatness of a contact center, and it allows for careers to be born. I am a shining example of that. But also, I think that it's somewhat of a limiter because you're used to having the ability to walk down an aisle and tap someone on the shoulder, or you can, grab everyone together to do a quick huddle. So when your team goes remote, you really have to think outside the box on how do you engage your team? How do you keep your team up to speed on all of the changes that happen within the contact center? But also, how are you going to look at training differently? How are you going to make sure that the level of engagement is the same when you can't physically look around the room and make sure everyone's looking at you and paying attention? Video helps with that, but video also brings fatigue. We've all lived in, the era of 8 hours a day of Zoom meetings, and there are times when you just need a break. So I think that the things you have to consider differently are those engagement areas. So when you're doing training, how are you doing it? And do you need to think of it differently now? 60 minutes of sitting on Zoom and listening to someone talk to you and maybe showing PowerPoint screens isn't the most engaging way. So can you break that down into bite-sized little pieces that they can take in between other work that they're doing? Or can you figure out ways of having some of your team participate in those training sessions so that it's more interactive and it's not just one person talking for the entire time? But then team huddles, you still want to do those and you want to have the same level of engagement. So you want to make sure that instead of it being free form, maybe you have a little bit more of an agenda. So everybody has an idea of what's going to be covered, and they can, if they have a topic that isn't on the agenda, they can bring it to your attention and make sure that they still get, the time with you that they need. But it's really it's really more about focus on fairness too. So in an office, it's really easy, like I said, to grab everybody and make sure that they all have the same tools. Everybody has a computer at their desk. They have all of the software that's been loaded. When you're working from home, you want to make sure that you're providing that same level of fairness of the tools that are being given to all of the team members. Even if it's a bring your own device, obviously you're going to have the requirements of what type of system they need to have, but make sure that the collaboration tools are something that everybody has access to and that they can all participate in the same way as if they were in an office together.
So one follow-up question to that is, so I was just on the phone earlier on this week with the senior vice president of a very large BPO, and they have clients that come to them, and these clients, there's some that still require them to have physical staff that is physically in the office. Mm-hmm. Is there technology out there, would you say, in this day and age that would, I guess make it comfort those people, or what would they have to do to, I guess, convince them that, hey, it's okay to send them home? We actually have more visibility with technology that we use. I mean, is that something that you would recommend if you were their clients?
I think that you start that conversation with understanding what concerns them about having a remote work staff.
Right.
Probably the first thing they're going to say is security. I want to make sure that my information is secure. And those same controls that you can put on a system that's in an office can be put on a system anywhere. We all live in the cloud. We know that the cloud allows that extensibility of all of the great technology to be delivered to anyone, anywhere. I mean, we have digital nomads now. I mean, I have a staff member that, she said, oh, by the way, I'm taking a half day on Friday. I'm jumping on a flight. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, oh, weekend visit. No, she's working from Costa Rica for a period of time. But that doesn't matter to me, because as long as she has her system with her and can log in and do her work, the chair she's sitting in, the country that she's located in, that really doesn't matter. If you have a good Wi-Fi speed and you have the technology that you're delivering out to the systems and the controls in place the same way they would be in an office, then I see less of a concern of where they sit, and I see more of a benefit of hiring a higher caliber employee that you can trust more to do that work.
Oh yeah. So now that we're on technology, I've definitely seen a burst in the urgency to find the best work from home technology. So what are some of the different technologies that you've seen, or how has technology changed?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, when I started out in this industry, it was outbound dialing and there were no computers. It was paper and pencil and telephones that you were picking up and you were dialing by hand. And I've seen the evolution, which has been a really great experience of moving into a computerized environment, but then moving into having it all be automated for you. And now that most companies have created somewhat of a hybrid or a cloud ability of how they can deliver their products, we don't have to worry about servers being installed and computers that need to be monitored. And, are we running the updates that need to be run? Like, I love that, like, my customers come in the morning and they're like, oh, wow, I've got a new version of the software. What cool things are available for me today? That is such a benefit in how our industry is really moving, but the world is really moving in general. I think that we've seen it in classrooms. We've seen a move away from like the hardbound textbooks that are outdated in schools, and now they're all accessing their content online and they're getting like modern day history instead of old time history. But I think that will really be where we see the continuation of having, a contact center as a service platform, or, a workforce engagement management solution that's delivered through a cloud. There's companies that started out on-prem that have then moved their technology to be a hybrid or a co-located facility type of deal and are now trying to make it a cloud solution. Then we have all of the new companies companies that are up and coming that started in the cloud and have never lived anywhere else. They're taking advantage of microservices and what that technology can mean for their customers. And that just really means that you can be super nimble, and it allows for greater extensibility of how you use that software. So I think we're going to see more and more of that. And the drive is going to be in that direction. Again, regardless if there is an office and there are rooms that used to hold servers, they'll repurpose those rooms and they'll make them for, a new purpose and a new life for the company as they move forward.
Well, I think as human beings, our patience level with anything now is like so low.
Yes.
So I think agility is the key to any technology, and just make it easy for me. So like as a customer, okay, your solution sounds great. I want, an easy implementation, an easy plug and play. I just want it to work. I don't want to go through a long 6-month implementation.
Right.
Because like I said, our patience is so low, and I don't know if it's because of the internet or
Has something to do with
social
it.
media, but waiting more than a day for anything now, I don't know.
Well,
That's just me, I guess.
no, I think it's totally true. I mean, we used to wait to get letters mailed to us, and then it was like, oh, the fax is going to come through, and then the email is coming in, and now it's an instant message or a text message. And we are living in an instantaneous world right now. And we feel like because as consumers, we have access to information that easily and that quickly. As businesses, we should not only expect that from the vendors we work with, but we should expect to deliver that to the customers that we work with. And one of the great things that I've seen is, when you talk about agility and you talk about the cloud, being able to really prove out like how a product is going to benefit a customer, like truly being in the cloud, you can do free trials, where if we were talking about an old on-prem solution that was a 6-month minimum implementation time, there was no way you were ever going to offer a trial to anyone. Even if you were doing a proof of concept, it was like, okay, and this is how much you'll pay to prove that concept works.
Sure.
And
And 36 to 5-year term.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember 5-year terms for on-prem?
Oh my
I
gosh.
remember.
Well, and we were able to get away with that because we could show over time how the cost of the servers would last for that entire 5 years of that contract. But now, we can do free trials. We can stand someone up and let them start playing with and experiencing a product without having to decide to buy first. They can really have that moment of, is this what I'm looking for? And, all of us as consumers do free trials all the time. So businesses now being able to do free trials and to test out products first, I think is really changing the expectation and increasing the demand on companies to really be able to deliver on what they're promising up front.
Well, it's because all of us are getting so much smarter. I mean,
Yes,
I could learn about technology going on YouTube. I just learned how to fix my washer just going on YouTube the other day. I was like, yes, no $300 plumber is needed.
Right, exactly.
So
I just have to find somewhere that has the part.
Yeah, so I just want to check out the GUI and navigate my way through just a free trial. And a lot of people know free trials are not the full-blown experience. There's not really deep integrations, and people know that, but people still want to look, at the sexy GUI.
I want to touch and play with it.
Yeah, I just want to see it. Okay, this looks awesome. All right, let's talk about, integrations and moving forward and security and all that.
Yeah. And the try before you buy is just, I think, the way we're going to see things move more and more in the future. And I know that as a consumer, I expect that. So as a business, I'm starting to see that expectation is coming through the same way.
Oh yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. So we've talked high level, Jennifer, but I guess getting down into the specifics, and really dissecting this a little further. What does a workforce engagement management solution, what does it provide to an organization, and how do the employees benefit from implementing one?
Yeah, so workforce engagement management is one of those terms that is probably used interchangeably with like workforce optimization. Big difference being, the focus of how that solution is being used. So for a workforce engagement management solution, the focus is really on agent experience and customer experience and what that platform can help provide. And for the organization, I would really say that having a cloud-based WEM solution means that you have a single source for your data, and that data is accessible to anyone that you want to deliver a license to. So if you want to set someone up with a license, your CEO, your CTO, your new customer that's coming in, if you're a BPO and you have a new, partner coming in, you can give them a license so that they can log in and see their own information. That accessibility and access is really different than what we've seen, previously. And that is really important because, like, as you said, we're a now kind of society, and no one wants to wait for a report to come out on Monday. They want to check throughout the week and see what's going on with a program, and really being able to monitor the successes and sometimes the areas of opportunity that you have in a business. And because a cloud solution allows you to see that so easily, you cannot have to wait until Monday and realize, wow, we really should have done things differently. You can understand what's happening as the week goes by, and you can make changes on the fly in order to see the best success from your team. So I think that for the organization is really great. But for the employees, I think that a workforce engagement management solution really delivers the opportunity to have ongoing development and to have access to information on how they are performing at their job, so that they have a full picture of, am I doing the right things? Am I being celebrated? Do we have gamification? Am I getting the badges that everyone else is getting? Like those elements of fun, but also the elements of true, are you executing on the goals the company has? Are you treating the customers the way that we expect for them to be treated? And knowing that on an ongoing basis allows them to feel more confident at the job that they're doing. And it enables a company to maintain employees for a longer period of time, because they're not waiting for a period of weeks before someone finally gets to them and gives them feedback on all of the interactions that they've had, to find out that they're doing horribly. At least that's what they heard when the coach or the supervisor came to them. And then they feel defeated and they want to walk away and they don't want to do it anymore. When they're seeing it over time and they're seeing the successes that they're realizing because they are getting that consistent feedback, it just allows them to be more engaged and better at solving the problems of the customers and treating them in the way that they would want to be treated if they were the customer coming in. Plus it gives them flexibility, shift swaps, like all of a sudden, oh no, I didn't realize my kid's plays tomorrow night. I'm scheduled to work. Okay, I can swap with a coworker and make sure that I can be off so I can have that work-life balance. And again, that's another thing that allows you to be able to retain your employees for longer, is to recognize that there is a whole world for them outside of the walls of your organization, and recognizing that and treating them in a way that shows that you care about both sides of their life, their personal side and what they do for you within the business, I think really makes a stronger, foothold on what someone wanting to work for you. You want to be that organization of choice, somewhere that someone chooses to work, not that they needed a job and you offered them a job. So I think that having a solution that really allows them to develop and grow creates that type of environment.
Most definitely, yeah. I agree with you. And I think at the times throughout my career where I've been the most satisfied, with whoever I was working with or for, I think when I broke into the field sales and was able to actually work remotely and not get caught up in all the political stuff that goes on in offices.
The soap opera of it all.
Good grief. Yeah, or whatever.
These are our lives. And the contact.
We used to tease back in the day that there should be one called As the Phone Dials.
Oh my God, that's so good. You even said it so sweet.
I was hurled into this industry by, generosity, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I went to InContact, was the first corporate company. And I'm sure everybody there just wanted to kill me because I wasn't, the typical, corporate employee.
But you know what? That's
I
probably
learned,
what
I
made it
learned.
work for you. Yeah.
I learned, love and respect like everybody I worked with there, because they all taught me something.
Yep.
But
And that's an interesting theme. That's
it.
a little link between all of us in our, past lives. So
Yeah.
So I have a question. So is it WEM or WEM?
no, that's a great
Workforce
question.
engagement management. I got asked that.
Workforce engagement management is just way too many words to say, instantaneous. So I've always said it is WEM, WFO. I kind of like that Gartner coined that new term of WEM, workforce engagement management. One, because I think that it puts the right focus, like workforce optimization being all about operational efficiency. What employee ever came in and said, please make me more operationally efficient? Like that's not anything anyone ever asks for. So I love that. Plus WFO and WFM are way too close to each other and that gets people mixed up. So yeah, WEM is the way that I would go with it.
All right, good to know. I've heard people say both. I'm like, WEM? What's WEM?
See, I would be like, wham? Is that what you're talking about?
No whammy? No whammy? Oh yeah, so I definitely see WM as a vital solution definitely for work from home, but even people in the office. I think employee morale, employee engagement, even customer engagement, it's where it needs to be, especially with the competitiveness of the workforce out there. Yes. You definitely want to keep employee morale high.
Yeah, you want to be that employer of choice.
Yeah, definitely employer of choice. So I do thank you for your time, Jennifer. This is very, very enlightening. We will have Jennifer's contact information in our comments and description if you want to reach out to her, but you can also find her on LinkedIn. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you all.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
guys.
Jennifer.
Thanks for listening to the Contact Center Gurus podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.